150 million years ago, the world was a very different place. At this time, dinosaurs roamed the earth. No, not that dinosaur. We're here. He doesn't come in until later. No, we're talking about the Jurassic time period here. In this time period, the continents were almost all connected into one supercontinent known as Pangaea. In the northern part of Pangaea, known as Laurasia, where modern-day Germany is found, the land was covered by a shallow sea interspersed with many little islands. The sea created little briny lagoons that were too devoid of oxygen to allow much life to live in them. However, any animals that were unfortunate enough to have washed or fell into the lagoons were covered in mud and preserved as fossils. Although at the time, the lagoons were not very abundant with life, the land supported many different species of plants, animals, and insects. When the lagoons began to dry up, the sticky mud trapped many of these species and preserved them for us to see today. We call this particular formation the Solnhofen limestone. Well, we know what the fossils look like, but what did the Solnhofen area look like back in the day? The areas around the lagoons were able to support many different kinds of plants, including ferns, cycads, sphenophytes, and even big conifers. While some of the plants needed water for reproduction, the naked seed plants did not. They reproduced through seeds instead. The warm, humid climate made a nice home for insects such as this dragonfly, as well as many others. As mentioned earlier, it was hard to support life in the salty, oxygen-depleted lagoons. However, fossils indicate that there were organisms buried in them. Poor little guys like this brittle star, shrimp-like crustacean, sea urchin, and fish were all washed into the lagoons and suffocated by the toxicity and lack of oxygen in the water. Rest in peace, little sea creatures. Back on land, little theropod dinosaurs like these ones scampered around close to the ground. Don't be fooled by the narrow scope of this narration. There weren't only little dinosaurs around at this time. The late Jurassic was also home to some gigantic sauropods. But because the little theropods are the ones found in the Solnhofen limestone formation, we're just going to focus on them for right now. What are these guys? Although you may think these are flying dinosaurs, they're actually not dinosaurs at all. They're pterosaurs, the only group of reptiles capable of powered flight. They were found flying around the area, being awesome. Another not dinosaur that lived in this area was this little guy. He's a Homiosaurus, a little lizard-like reptile closely related to today's Tuatara. And then there's... wait, what? What is this? Is it a bird? Is it a dinosaur? The answer is yes. This cool little guy is actually the intermediate species between feathered dinosaurs and birds, known as Archaeopteryx. Although he had feathers and many other qualities of modern birds, he shared many characteristics with the dinosaurs at the time. It's like he had a species identity crisis. But that is why Archaeopteryx is so important. Alright, let's do a recap. This Solnhofen place was home to some cool plants, insects, sea creatures, dinosaurs, pterosaurs, and a cool dino bird. When they all died and were buried in mud, their bones were well preserved in limestone. These fossils are the clues that show us that all these awesome species existed even though they aren't around today. Thanks, Mother Nature!